Look at the collection we have. Christmas Memories is here, and Teresa has been having a fabulous time. So I ask you to please come play with us. Okay, let me just kind of go over these for a moment. So Christmas Memories 12 by 12 papers, very vintage, very beautiful looks. And then there's also a surprise 6 by 6 version. Now this has 24 sheets. It's the same art, just shrunk down. And this has 76 cutouts. The big one has 38 cutouts. So that's there. We also have chipboard that will coordinate beautifully. And for our first time, we will also have cardstock to perfectly match. You're going to get 12 sheets. Now these are printed on one side and they're white on the back side, which means if you're using an embossing folder, you can go ahead and run it through, and then you can slightly sand the top and reveal the white core. Very, very fun. And I'm not done. We also have die cuts. This is also something brand new for us. So we have lots of things to coordinate together. By the way, these die cuts there are 31 of them, as you can probably see a little bit. And then we loved that lantern so much that we decided to do it in a small cutting die. So you have the lantern, you also have the candle, and that's a real treat. So all of these goodies, let me show you what Teresa has done. Well, wait, before I do that, I want to show you what the design team, you know, on our packaging, we always have projects, and this is this is the scrapbook page that we've done, and just wanted to share that with you, adding flowers and adding some ribbons. It just makes a beautiful look. And this is the red foil right there. And there's also the glitter gold foiling on those flowers. So just wanted to get that in for our scrapbooking friends. Now we're going to get into with the cards, whoops, and we will get closer to be able to see this in all its glory. And this is the front of the card. Now, I love the fact that Teresa, I'm going to take a note out of there. I love the fact that Teresa used vellum because I love the property that it has of kind of ghosting back. Now, all of our cards are 6.5 by 5 inches when they're placed horizontally like this. And I just really love, now what Teresa did is that she took this sheet. This is the first sheet in the collection. She didn't want to use this area because she wanted to use that cutting die. So she turned her card like so with the fold at the top, and then she cut a piece just to go from right here where the music notes start over here, and that gets her to the size that she needed, as you can see right there. Then she took vellum. Now we have vellum in 6 by 12 sheets. It's like this. It's the white vellum, just like this. And there are 10 sheets in that package. So just wanted you to know that that's also available. Now this season's greetings, that is part of the cutout sheet. Let me show you that sheet. This is obviously the 12 by 12 version, and you can see the season's greetings is right there. These same cutouts are shrunk down in the 6 by 6 package. And you can see how that looks so nice right there. Now what Teresa does is when she uses her ribbon, she always tries to tuck the ends underneath. So you can cut them off, that's perfectly fine, but this is her preference so that they don't fray. So when she cuts that piece of pattern paper, places her vellum and glues her cutout there, then she wraps her ribbon around, tucks the ends back there, and then has this little knot. Can either be a separate piece or you can knot the ends of that ribbon before you attach it. Really, really nice. Now, that before I get to that little die cut, I wanted to point out what she has done with this part of the chipboard. It's these musical notes that are just in that pretty kind of wave. She simply tapped them with a black ink ink pad, sorry about that, jet black ink pad, there you go, just tapped it right on, and I just love that going across the front of the card, just oh so pretty, on top of that ribbon. The ribbon, by the way, is out of our red ribbon collection. In fact, she uses it on almost all the projects here, so that's a nice thing to have. Now let's get to that little cutting die. And I wanted to show it to you as it gets cut out just with cardstock. So let me place it here. So you get the lantern. It is embossed right there, so you're going to get a bit of a ridge. And this is what that candle looks like, and a really sweet little flame on it too. Now I thought it was really clever in that she die cut it out of our metallic gold paper. Now this isn't holographic, this is just a really very useful metallic gold, and we have that by the sheet. And then she did the candle out of a red that's out of the papers, the pattern papers, and she foam taped them so that they're both lifted a bit off of the card. She also put a piece of acetate behind the lantern. And I really like that effect because you see the shine. There you go. And it looks much more real. And I thought that was just really a nice touch. And we do sell the acetate individually by the sheet. So that's an easy thing to add should you be needing that. Now on the inside of her card, let's take a look. And this is so typical of Teresa. Don't you think that could be a front of a card? I think it could, and I think it's just gorgeous. Now, this is the sheet that she used, and you can see that it has that really pretty border along the edge, and just finding it so useful. And so then she cut another piece that's going to be, that's a full-size sheet. She just cut it down. The other thing that she did, and I just now noticed, is that when she cut this piece, and then she matted it on the cardstock, you saw that package, she offset it. It goes clear over to the left. That's really different. Normally, we kind of center everything, but not Teresa, and I think it gives a very designer look. Now, this is one of the cutouts in the paper pack, and then this Love, Peace, and Joy is one of the die cuts. Let me get that. So you've got that right there, and she's just foam taped it on top. She die cut another of the lanterns out of the same metallic, and then also did the acetate. This time it's got a green candle underneath it. So really just a beautiful card, lots of creativity, and that's what we expect from our Teresa, isn't it? Now, speaking of creativity, let me show you. Now, you remember all of the very fun pop-up box die-cut cards. Yes, very fun. And Teresa has done something really kind of wonderful. Now, you know that when you mail them, you can make them flat, okay? And in this kit, let's see, let me just point that out. 5 cards, 5 envelopes, complete instructions, okay? So your base is right there. What Teresa has done is to decorate it beautifully. So when you mail it, it's flat, but when the person receives it, it just pops up like this. And isn't that festive and fun? I really, really like it. And she did a great job incorporating the die cuts as well as the papers, as well as some Dazzles. Well, let me show you what she's done. Here is the paper that Teresa used to go on the outside of her box. Let me show you this. And she starts right here. Let me turn it over like she did. So she starts right here and goes right around the box. Whoops. Here we go. Let me get that oriented correctly. There you go. See how those match? Okay. And she took this strip of paper. So she put the first one on the front of her card, just like that. Then the next section goes right here. The third section doesn't get folded, so she's got plenty of room on her paper. The fourth section goes right there. So she just used a piece of this pattern paper. Really, really pretty. Now she did use a different paper that has the green that's in the paper pad, and she did the bottom of the flaps, and then same thing on the top. She used another paper to do the inside of that riser, the back of her card, of her box, and then she went with the die cuts. So Happy Holidays, that great big tag, the circle, this, and this are all part of the die cuts. Now, what else did she do? Well, let me see. Can you see right there and along? It just goes right along the papers, along the front and the sides. She used our thin line Dazzles. Now the thin line Dazzles are exactly that. They're very skinny, and you may not realize what a great look they are, but I think you can see just how festive. They just kind of dress things up. So that's where she used those. Now, with the rest of her piece, so you see the Noel, and then on the inside here, joy, holly jolly, very merry, and there's some little holly right there. All of those came out, oh, else, did I tell you joy? Yes. All of those came out of this package, and this is 420 Christmas Greetings Dazzles. And what it has is the script greeting in black, white, gold, and silver, but it also has the tiny words in black, white, gold, silver, gold and silver and red and green, because we're in the Christmas season, okay? So both of these are in all 4 of those colors, and you can see what she's done, that the smaller ones are the Noel, silver bells, and all of those. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is, or a couple of things actually, is that in the pop-up box, there are actually 3 sections that you can use inside the box. Teresa elected just to use 2. I thought it was really smart how she's got these cascading down. So you see the highest, the next highest, this one, and then this tag going down onto the flap. I thought that was really neat. The other thing she did is she used the blender brush and brushed on the Friar Brown Harmony ink just on the edges of all of those Christmas Memories papers. It just does a nice job of creating kind of a matte with simply a swipe of those blender brushes. So just wanted to point that out. By the way, I haven't said it, but if you've watched these, you've heard me before. All of the instructions, all of the measurements are down below in the gallery. So when we're done, or even if you want to right now, you can click on that. It will take you to an image of each of the projects and complete instructions. So you've got everything ready for you. Okay, so that is one. Now, let me show you another. Teresa always does kind of amazing things, and this card is one. There are so many things going on. To begin with, well, actually, let me just open it up. So as I open it, look, there's pockets inside. The back one is holding one of the cutouts. There is another cutout. She's added a gift card, and then another cutout right there. Lots of papers too, and just like this. Now, there is a download. You'll see it in the gallery under, look at this card. And then when you click on it, you're going to see a supply list. At the bottom of the supply list, it will have a download. The download looks like this, and it will print out. It's a 12 by 12, and you need to use that on a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. Fortunately, we have that available. Now, let me show you what this looks like. So, in fact, let's back up just a smidge, Steve, so we can get that all in the screen. A little bit more. There we go. Okay, so this is the card base. Then these 2 pieces are the sizes of the patterns for the papers that are going to go on the inside of the pockets. So let me show you what this looks like when you trace it out. And it looks just like this. And you'll notice that it's true of all of her patterns, of Teresa's patterns, a broken line is a score line. A solid line is a cut line, and notice that this has a slit that goes in, and it looks just like that, okay? Now, to assemble this, let me slide that out of the way. We're actually going to turn it so that this piece is in the upper left-hand area, okay? That big triangle is up there. And you'll notice that Teresa has already done it for us on our model. She's taken the 1/4 inch extra sticky tape, placed it along this fold, along this edge and this edge. So both of those edges of the triangle, and then right here. Now the way that you do this is you first attach this. Now you're just attaching those edges because this is a pocket, okay? Then we're going to bring this one up, and again, it's a pocket, and then it's going to fold over. Got that? Really, really clever. And Teresa does that. So even though our pattern is like this, you're going to flip it over and place the extra sticky tape as directed. Fold this one over, then this one up. You see how it's making those stair steps, and then this one over, okay? And what Teresa has used for the front of her card is this paper from the paper pack. And again, that border just does such a nice job. Don't you like it? And let me show you what else she has done on this. Now we'll get in closer again. That way it just keeps Steve jumping around. And she has used the chipboard. And I absolutely love the look. And I'm hoping you can see, let me see, okay. You can catch the shine on them. Now, not only the holographic paper there, but the shine on the chipboard pieces on all of them. What Teresa did is to use many of these Harmony ink pads. The Chinese red for those little pieces right there. She's used the jet black for the lantern. You can see that she used, let me see, the pine tree for the sprigs right there. And then she tapped them with the watermark ink pad and then heat embossed them with the clear embossing powder. And that is just how you get that beautiful shine. I could see it beautifully in person. It's kind of tricky under the lights, but I think you get the idea. Just really pretty. It just makes them stand out so nicely. Now, the other thing that she has done, it's going back to our lantern, is she used the Diamond Sparkles holographic paper. Look at that in 12 by 12. But look what that little bit of it does behind the lantern. Just really pretty. This time she didn't put acetate, but you certainly could. And then she used something that's becoming a favorite around here. Hunky Dory has done these Christmas sparkles. So you can see in red, green, gold, silver, blue, and purple. So she's chosen the gold ones to go on her bow and to go right there. Now there's another bit of sparkle here, also coming from our friends at Hunky Dory. And this is the shimmer cardstock. And Teresa just cut a strip right there, about 1 inch wide, and it just goes right across the pattern paper. And you notice how her papers are all cut smaller than the cardstock. That way it lets the cardstock become the mat. It just makes it so much easier. Then on the inside, you saw those patterns on the download. And so that's going to go here. There's another piece that goes there, and then the cutouts as you choose. Just a really, really nice card, and something that we would certainly expect from our Teresa, wouldn't we? Now, the next one is kind of a play off of a card that's very familiar to us, and it's this. So this is one of the die cuts. Can you tell I'm really excited about the die cuts? They actually just got in my hands about an hour ago. And so right there, but this is a cutout. You saw it in the last project, and it's right there. You get 2 of them anyway. But what this is a gatefold card, because they're meeting in the middle. But these also have a little flap that allows them to turn. So if you want to have this standing up, it's a note to myself, you can, let me get this organized, you can have it standing up so that you can see those fun tags while the card is standing up. And I thought that was really nice. How did she do it? Well, let me show you. So Teresa took our standard card. Now, our card is, when it is folded, let me go ahead and fold this, it is 5 by 6.5. Ignore that for the moment, okay? You lay it flat, Then you're going to measure in halfway on each side, score that, and bring it to the center. You do that on each side, just like so. And our favorite tool for scoring is this, again by Hunky Dory, and it just allows us to go in that 2.5 inches from the outside edge, do the score line, just pop this out, that's our tool, and then do the same thing on the other side. Okay, makes it just so simple. So let me set that aside. Now, what about this little flap that Teresa has done? Well, this is a piece of white cardstock, or it can be cream, it can be anything. It can be the cardstock out of the Christmas Memories cardstock. It's 2.5 inches by 1 inch. Then you're going to fold it in half. On the other side, you're going to place the two-sided tape. Now, this is a tearable tape, not terrible, but it is T-E-A-R-A-B-L-E, and place that on each section. So you're going to end up with 4 strips. And then this is going to become your hinge. And notice that Teresa placed it, now here's the whole one, it has 4 of those strips, and she placed it measuring 1.5 inches down from the top and placed half of it hiding. That becomes the hinge that the die cut is going to get attached to. She did the same thing on the other side, measuring down the 1.5 inches, positioning, pulling those papers off, positioning this halfway so that the other half of the hinge is out. I have to tell you, I've never seen this before, and I think it's just really very clever. So Teresa has done that, and on the paper that's all green, she used that. Again, same idea. She's letting the card base be the mat, so she's cutting her paper slightly smaller. And she used one of the pieces as a border, and that's really clever to do. Now, the embellishment that you have, do you see that shine? Well, that comes from our fancy border Dazzles. Now this has, see, I put the name on the back of it, and this has a couple of sheets, but they are all in black, white, gold, and silver. And they're just so handy, and these are about 9 inches long, so you're going to get quite a bit out of it. And as you can see, she's got a piece there and there, there and there. She took a different one to be at the bottom of it. Now for her tags, she simply has inked the edges, I think with Friar Brown again. On this one, added a bow. And this one, she matted on the red cardstock that's in the cardstock pat, did another of the red ribbons and attached it. Then on the inside, we have another of the papers, just beautifully done. And those fancy border Dazzles at the top and the bottom. Now she could have used a piece of the cardstock right here, but because she had the red ribbons, and there are so many, and you get 36 inches of each one, she elected to wrap that, just kind of tucking the ends underneath, and then she matted this cutout on the cardstock and glued it on top so it stays. The other thing I like is that when this is closed, you get the benefit of those extra ribbons showing. I also like the fact that this completely covers up the other tag, and then it gives you lots of nice greetings. So really, really nice. Well, of course, Teresa always does a great job. Speaking of great jobs, let me show you something else. We have the Scalloped Circles. We also have round circles, but Teresa has elected to use just the scallop to create this glittery ornament. Look at that. Now she did use our circle and scalloped cutting dies because they're just so useful. And she die cut this out of that sparkle paper I showed you earlier, the cardstock, and simply glued it down. Now you can do that with the regular glue, although Teresa did elect to use this giant clear double-sided adhesive. This is from our friends at Elizabeth Crafts. This is a honkin' one, you can see, and this is 6 inches wide. And so she placed the cardstock on this and then die cut it, and then it just die cut out as one piece. Now, and the outside of the chipboard is just left plain. It is this kind of ecru color, ivory color. Now, what are all of these? Well, we're going to go back to the chipboard again. Yes, it's these. So she has taken the candle all by itself. She's taken the bow by itself, the pine sprigs, as well as the poinsettia, and some of the pine cones. Now, again, she went back to the Harmony ink pads and used Midnight. I think here she used Grasshopper, and she also used the Chinese red, as you can see, and this is one of the browns. It's all in the directions. Now, how does she get that sparkly? If you've been watching our webisodes, I know that you know. All you'll do is take our glue. You can use the Cosmic Shimmer Specialist acrylic glue and just brush it over, and then pour on some of the diamond dust. Ooh, got a little fleck in there. And pour that on, press it down. Although this is glass, it will not cut you. And then press it down, as I said, then tap it off into a bit of scrap paper, and you will have a look just like that. So easy. Now, just in case that you are a real lover of diamond dust, we do have a 14-ounce container, so that's nice. Just to show you some other ideas of some of the things that you've seen today that you can do with the chipboard. This is using the scallop and the circle one. You can see that that's using the cutting dies and the papers that you've just seen. Here is another. You saw the Merry Christmas chipboard, and this is again the lantern. This time it's got the starburst, the fireworks holographic underneath it. There is the greenery and the pine cones also, and that bow, just beautifully done. We're very excited about these and so much fun. So, have I got you in the Christmas spirit, or has Teresa got you in the Christmas spirit? So just to recap, we have Christmas Memories 12 by 12 papers. I think we're going to have to get back a bit, Steve. And then we've got the 31 die cuts, and we have the 6 by 6 Christmas Memories. We have the 12 by 12 cardstock. Really excited to finally have that. And then we also have this absolutely charming lantern and candle cutting die. All of this together, I think I got everything, and all of it is in the Money Saver, so we want to save you some money too. If you're watching this on YouTube, please come over to paperwishes.com. Please sign up to get our email, because we'll tell you all about the special offers we have, because we have one every single day, and you won't want to miss out on the free video classes like this one. And every week we'll tell you what's brand new also. If you are watching this at paperwishes.com, you know that right over on the right-hand side, there is a Money Saver that's just waiting for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Teresa, you did a wonderful job. I'm getting in the Christmas spirit, and we want to thank you so much for joining us. You are the best part of paperwishes.com.